All right. Wow. Start off that way. Good afternoon. It is a Wednesday afternoon here, July 30th, 2025. Unbelievable how quick the month of July has gone. I am Angel. He is Jay, also known as Beav's World here. Beav here with us on a Wednesday evening. We hope everyone is cool wherever you are because there's a heat dome that's been hanging around basically from Africa all the way out to Antarctica at this point because everywhere you go, it is extremely hot. So wherever you are, make sure you're drinking plenty of water as Beav is right there with his prime drink. And just make sure you guys stay hydrated. Me personally, I have my coffee, even though, yes, it's
Water
pretty,
too.
but yeah, you got to have it. But nonetheless, it is Beats World. Thank you all for joining us. And thank you all, especially those who are continuously downloading the app. We do appreciate it. And the uptick as well on the radio station. And for the folks out in Australia who listen in, thank you very much from down under. We do appreciate it. But well, I guess to start off, Beef, the update from last week seems like today was Ozzy's funeral across the pond there.
Yeah, yeah. We were just talking about that. Praying for his family, particularly Sharon. She's having a tough time, and it was weird. I was just talking to you about this. You saw him at the show, and obviously he's in like a chair and he couldn't move around, but vocally he was great. He's been a mess mentally for about 25, 30 years, going back to his TV show.
Right.
So it's not like this guy was doing crosswords. So it was it's just it's weird to see that he's gone. It's just and with all the Ryan Sandberg and Malcolm Jamal Warner and Chuck Mangione, it's been a really weird week or so here. But yeah, the Aussie thing, people, because if you're active on social media, you don't really realize how big somebody is until they die, and how many different musical acts Ozzy and Sharon helped. I mean, a lot of 80s metal bands, Bon Jovi, Rat, Queensryche, Poison, opened with Ozzy, and just got going. And Sharon and Ozzy were great to these guys, and particularly Sharon, she really went out of her way. I mean, there's a million stories out there where because she remembers how Black Sabbath got ripped off. If you know that story, they really got ripped off their early record deals, and she went out of her way to look out for the bands and help these guys out. And these bands are still loyal to her now. I mean, look how many of the guys who showed up for Ozzy's uh, show. And I should also mention Metallica. Obviously, people know about that. Metallica is just huge with Ozzy, and yeah, it's just sad. He's huge. I tell people this. It was the first cassette I bought was Blizzard of Oz, and you put it on, you're like, holy Christ, what is this? It's completely different. And the other thing, it was interesting. He was completely different solo than Black Sabbath.
Right.
Black Sabbath had been going through transition, and obviously they went to Ronnie Dio, who is also incredible. It's like a Sammy Hagar, David Lee Roth thing, where the band was still really good with the new lineup and the new lead singer. So, but yeah, it's awful sad. It's you see how much Ozzy's meant to so many people, but look what he's doing to his poor family. And yeah, it's sad. I feel praying for the entire group there, and everybody who loves Ozzy. Ozzy's a huge deal. I mean, I say, what did I call him? I called him what did I call him of metal? I had the the Elvis of metal. The Elvis of metal. That's what he is. And he's big deal. And it's weird that he's gone. Just it's weird, particularly for England. England, there's very few rock stars that are as big a deal. Obviously, Paul McCartney's up there.
Yeah.
He's pretty much it's just him and Ringo, right? Ringo's still around, right? He and Ringo,
Yep.
and you know, interesting to me. And I think as a guy who grew up in the '70s, I was born in the '70s, really grew up in the '80s. The American version of Ozzy Osbourne, I probably think is Gene Simmons. As far as because he's a bigger deal than Paul Stanley. It's just the way it is. Um, and just seeing Gene go out there and talk about Ozzy, and it's just interesting. I'm trying to think if there's another. As far as rock guys goes, you may have people like Billy Joel and Bruce Springsteen, and Guys like that. The guys in Aerosmith. Eddie Van Halen already died, unfortunately. I'm trying to think if there's, Alice Cooper, Ted Nugent, all these
Right.
guys who came up in the 70s. The guys in the Eagles, but a lot of them are dead, unfortunately. Don Henley's still around. But yeah, it's weird. You've seen it with Billy Joel having health scare and Springsteen, whatever you think of him politically and all this stuff that's going on. But Billy Joel is another one. But I think that somebody like Gene Simmons, as far as rock and roll goes, and the three guys in Led Zeppelin are still alive, and they are out doing different things. Particularly Robert Plant and John Paul Jones. John Paul Jones probably plays on 30 albums a year. You don't even know about it. He's done everything from Brianna to Guns N' Roses. He just shows up and plays the bass and goes home. Like, just can be normal John Paul Jones. Robert Plant obviously can't go anywhere because he's like one of the most recognizable people in the world because of his crazy hair. So it's interesting to see. Yeah. Oh, you're right about The Town. The Town's a great movie, and what makes that is how good John Hamm is in it. John Hamm is really good in that as the FBI agent, and the bad guy who drugged up Affleck's dad when he was a kid. That bad guy, I forget his name, the lead bad guy. I'm going to do a spoiler. The guy Affleck kills at the end of the movie. He runs the flower shop,
Right.
and Affleck kills him because he made his dad a drug addict and he ruined his mother, and Affleck went and got him at the end of the movie. It's one of Affleck's best movies. Affleck, by the way, is very underrated because people don't take him seriously on a lot of stuff, but I think he's done really well, had a nice career, and he's had a lot of good films. But you're right about The Town. I like The Town better than The Departed. I'm not a big Departed guy. I love The Town.
I have to watch now. What's up, Joey B? But I wanted to show here.
Have you seen The Departed? Have you seen it, Angel?
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So no, it's good. And listen, it's been a pretty good summer with the movies. Mission Impossible is really good, and there's some other ones that have been out there. The Michael Jordan one, the one that Tom Cruise talks about all the time, is really good. The Ghost. What's it called? You know what I'm talking about. The Michael Jordan. Oh my God, not Michael Jordan the basketball player. Michael Jordan the actor. And now this Freaky Friday is supposed to be great with Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis. It should be cool. What's the yes, Peter Postlewaite. There you go. Joey B, tell me the Michael Jordan, the horror movie he's out, the church, the one that Tom Cruise talks about.
Oh crap!
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
It's down south, and he has to kill. It's like Dawn of the Dead type of thing where they're ghosts.
Yeah.
And Tom Cruise was out promoting Mission Impossible and kept talking about Mike. He said he actually saw Michael Jordan at one of his premieres and he said, "We're doing a movie together," and they're signing up to do a movie together because Tom Cruise loved that movie so much. So I'm trying to think what the hell the name of the movie is.
Was it Divided? No.
The what?
Divided or something?
You're right. It's like The Visitors.
Yeah, something like that. No, it wasn't Get Out, Joey B. It's recent, Joey B. Good Lord, can be less than 2 months old. No, not that one, Joey, because it was just on, I think, and Showtime and Cinemax. Damn it, is it? I'd offering
Sinners.
That's what it is. Yep. Well,
and it was incredible. Man, it's yeah.
But for Tom Cruise, though, did we really want to see another Mission Impossible after he said that was supposed to be the last Mission Impossible?
No. But what he's gonna do? No. But he's gonna do another Top Gun, and that's already in development. And it's gonna be what I thought he was gonna do the last one, where I thought I love Top Gun. It's my favorite movie. I love Maverick, but the first time I saw it, I thought he was going to get killed. Particularly at the end, the way the movie ended.
Yeah,
where he and Rooster were completely outgunned by the last Russian jet, so I mean, excuse me, not Russian. What a bad guy's jet. It wasn't a Russian. Confusing Top Gun with the Maverick. So yeah, I thought he was dead. I thought he was dead at the end because you don't know. We don't know. Remember how that movie ended? We didn't know that Hangman launched. I mean, Hangman was launched
Right.
because remember, Hangman won the launch, and John Hamm told him to stand down
Yeah.
because things weren't going good, and they were going to lose more planes. And remember, Rooster went back to get Maverick, and he got shot down.
Yep.
So then you have the variable change. So there's two planes, two pilots lost. So then John Hamm, I think, we'll never know that. That's one of the cool things about the movie. Did Hangman launch himself, or did John Hamm send him? And John Hamm also was great in Maverick because his job was to be a dick. He was the dick of the movie, which was pretty funny. And if you know the story, by the way, how he got cast in Maverick, it was hilarious. He went to he had a mutual friend where they would have Tom Cruise come over to watch football on weekends, on Saturday and Sunday, NFL games. And John Hamm showed up and would go to the party once in a while. And Tom Cruise showed up. And the funny thing is, Tom Cruise would bring his mother a lot with him to watch the games. So Tom Cruise grew up watching football. That's why he did all the right moves, and he's had so many sports related things he do in his life. But he just started talking to Tom Cruise about it, and he was telling him about how he's getting ready to do Top Gun and Top Gun 2, and he said, "Look, I don't care what I have to do. I want to be in this movie. Count me in whatever you want." And obviously, he got cast in it, and he was a huge part of the film. Best scene in the entire movie is when Haim's telling the class that Maverick's been replaced. We're going to change the rules. I'm going to be in command. And Maverick has stolen the plane, and he's going to do the course. It's the best scene in the entire movie. Maverick tells him he can do the course in like a minute and a half, and he does it.
Right.
When they're supposed to do it in 2.5 minutes. It's the best scene in the entire film. Such a great movie. It's a rare movie where the sequel is probably better than the first one. Probably The Godfather is one of the other ones. And Superman. Superman 2 with Christopher Reeve and the three escapees from the Forbidden Zone. Zod and those guys. So it's interesting to see. But no, I'm with you on Mission Impossible. I thought they did a really, really good job. Pete loved that movie. The thing that's amazing, if you've seen the film, just the underwater sequences. And the other thing that's amazing, and it's a crossover with Mission Impossible and Maverick Top Gun, is because of who Tom Cruise is, and he's a guaranteed to make the military look good.
Right.
And show your products like he did with Top Gun originally. The underwater gear he had in Mission Impossible and the access to planes and aircraft carriers and things that he got in both films is amazing. Yes, they are. They're talking about it. Yes. Miles Teller was just out here promoting his beer company and talking about it recently in town here, and came into where I work. And somehow I wasn't there that night, probably because there'd probably be a restraining order on me right now if I met him. So that you brought in Rooster and I wasn't there, but no, it's out there and it's well done. And by the way, Joel, who did Mission Impossible, also did Maverick. He's going to direct it. It's out there. It's been already talking about it. I ultimately think they're going to do it. They're going to probably kill Maverick. Maverick's probably going to get killed in this one.
So then, is it going to then be a set of new series with whomever now they promote?
No, I think what they're going to do, they're going to close it out like they just do Mission Impossible. What I think they'll do is, it's going to be the group he just had. Maverick with actually Maverick probably passing the baton to Rooster and Hangman in that group, and letting them take over and like retiring. Because remember, they did such an amazing job with the last film, and remember this is important. It came out in 22, and they filmed it in 19 because it was supposed to come out during COVID. And remember, this is important, Angel. Nobody knew about Val Kilmer, Iceman, being in the film until literally the day it came out, which was amazing. Because remember, Val Kilmer, that was a real thing. He was very gravely ill in real life, and literally he died recently or so. Yeah, yeah. Well, we don't know he's gonna die.
Well,
I was very very prepared for him to die in the last one because I'm still not recovered. See, you got if you're gonna do a death of a mythical superhero type figure, you have to do it right. And I'm going to take, if you're a Star Wars person, I'm about to take some shots at Star Wars. So go away and come back in 2 minutes. I'm about to kill Star Wars. What they did to Han Solo, having him killed by his punk twin son, it became a fucking Jerry Springer episode. Mommy and Daddy didn't love me enough. Now I must kill you. It's Han fucking Solo. And
yeah,
by the way, I know Harrison Ford went to them and said, listen, I'm old. Let's make this, and this is what he did originally. Let's make this about Carrie, Mark, and Billy D. Because remember, these idiots at first didn't have Billy D. Williams, Lando Calrissian, who, by the way, in real life goes out and promotes Star Wars all the time. Did not have Lando in the movie originally. And obviously, Mark Hamill was great, and poor Carrie died. But, I mean, Mark Hamill was great in it. He doesn't do a lot. He does more voices and cartoons type stuff. But literally, we know that Harrison Ford went to them and said, hey, kill me off. But to kill him off that way by his dork son, terrible casting, by the way, having that twit play like a bad guy. He's not. I beat up tougher guys than him in fourth grade. And I mean, it's just, is that, he's supposed to be like the new Darth Vader. Does that guy even remotely scare you at
no,
all?
no.
I forget his name. He's been in a million movies and he's a good actor. He's just not good at that. I mean, like, is he the guy who played Bane in Batman? There's that's who they should have cast.
True.
They should have got Tom Hardy from Bane from Batman.
Very true.
And it's Aiden what's his face is the guy who plays Princess Leia and Han Solo's son who goes nuts and becomes bad guy. He's Darth Vader Part 2.
By the way, Joey, think that we need a Happy Gilmore 2 review.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it, but I just saw the Barb Barker Adam Sandler segment, which is pretty damn funny. Believe it or not, I'm not a huge Adam Sandler. I'm not a comedy guy. Angel, I don't have much comedy in my life. I can't afford it. I watch the Mets every night. That's funny enough. So no, I'm making fun of my team, who's really good, and they just made a great trade. But no, I mean, we'll see what's going to happen here. But from my understanding, Happy Gilmore is good. And for the most part, people like Superman. Superman's done well. The one that's been great is F1. And again, that's Tom Cruise's guy.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise's guy does F1. No, but Tom Cruise's Maverick director, he's the one who did F1.
Oh, okay.
So he's done F1 and Mission Impossible, Joel. Yeah, in F1, have you seen it? It's incredible. It's incredible. And you're a race car guy.
Yeah, I started watching it, but because I've gotten so freaking busy as of late, I got to go back and still end up watching the rest of it. Plus, I want to watch it in surround sound because you just can't listen to it on just.
No, you're right. And that's one of the things that Tom Cruise talked about. And there's certain films like Mission Impossible, F1, any action type thing. And Sinners was great in a big boom theater. There are certain things that are better in theaters. And that's one of the things Tom Cruise talked about. But yeah, F1 is. And obviously it costs a lot of money and that's why and Mission Impossible costs a lot of money too, because you're doing some high tech, amazing things, and it has to be realistic. And the other thing that's hilarious about the Mission Impossible films, and Joey B's talking about this and other guys, but with Mission Impossible, that Tom Cruise almost does all of his own stunts.
Yep.
I mean, he's out of his effing mind. Some of the stuff he does. He's like dangling from a plane. Like we've seen the last Mission Impossible, he broke his ankle. The jumping from the one building to another, broke his ankle. By the way, he finished the stunt and didn't even know he did it. And then he got surgery. He was out for like 6 months.
Yeah, I heard about that one. Yeah,
I mean, it's completely nuts.
Joey B says, we have any advice for him? Because he says Denver to Houston and Nassau, Shuttle to Paradise Island and Atlantis. Am I nuts? Yep, sure. Because you are about to spend a lot of money, Joey B. It's great you're taking a family out there. Don't get me wrong, but holy molies, you're about to get
Well, isn't this time of year? This time of year, that area is kind of vacant, right? Because
because
it's like, yeah,
hurricane season. Yeah,
well, yeah, and also that it's hot there. It's the
yeah,
hot peak season. It's like
yeah.
where you are right now with the heat,
Hot.
in the rain and hot in the rain. Man, my dad lives in Venice, so no, it's crazy, but it's nuts. Okay, so Angel, we're a sports show, even though we talk about life, and also obviously we'll talk a little more about sports. Brian Sandberg, I was talking to CPR about this yesterday. One of the things that you do when you're a little kid, and I grew up watching, WGN with because I'm a Mets fan. I'm a National League guy in the WTBS with Dale Murphy and Bob Horner on the Braves. But when you think of second base, I thought of Ryan Sandberg. Shortstop was Cal Ripken. First base was different because I'm a Mets fan. We had Keith Hernandez, but Don Mattingly and other guys like that, Will
Right.
Clark, Wally Joyner. But no, it's sad and really class guy. And one of the things that pissed me off is they're just letting anybody in the Hall of Fame, and it devalues the high end guys like Ryan Sandberg. Like Billy Wagner has. I'm sorry, dude, and I'm a Mets fan, and you're a Phillies guy. Billy Wagner is not in the Hall. Should not be in the Hall of Fame. And CC Sabathia, no.
No.
I mean, there's like it's like Tom Seaver, Pedro Martinez, Greg Maddux, Randy Johnson, CC Sabathia. Which guy doesn't belong?
All of
And
them.
like I got really pissed off about 2 weeks ago when David Wright, that David Wright, Dan, they retired his number at the Mets, and I kept seeing Scott Rowland's numbers compared to David Wright. Never mind that David Wright's a way better player than Scott Rowland, and you even admit this, even though you're a Phillies guy. But David Wright was a way better player than Scott Rowland, and he got hurt. And their stats are very close, by the way. So, they should do things here. Hey, when I think of Sandy Koufax, I see CC Sabathia.
No one does.
And it's all. I mean, it's like I do the same thing with the quarterbacks in the NFL. With Phillip Rivers retiring, I had somebody ask me the other day, "Is Phillip Rivers a Hall of Famer?" I said he played for the Chargers, right? There are two quarterbacks who played for the Chargers that are better than him. Want me to name them?
Sure.
Dan Fouts and Drew Brees. Okay?
Right.
Dan Fouts and Drew Brees. And the way people talk about Justin Herbert, I'll have him being better than Phillip Rivers. Herbert sucks, by the way. But it's like, if you talk to me, there's like 10 guys that should be in the Hall of Fame that are quarterbacks. That's about it. It's not career achievement award. And by the way, Aaron Rodgers ain't one of them. There's two guys from the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers ain't one of them. Bart Starr and Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Go through every team in the league. I can tell you if they have a Hall of Fame quarterback. Obviously, Tommy, Roger Staubach, Dan Marino, John Elway. There's four. We'll go with Johnny Unitas and Sammy Ball. There's six. I just named the two Packers guys. Nobody from the Cowboys after Roger Staubach. And then go through every other team. The Bears don't have a quarterback. The Lions sure as hell don't have a quarterback. And if you say Matthew Stafford, I'm going to throw you out a window. Now, Joe Namath for his contribution to the game.
Right.
Because that's part of it, and that's why John Madden should be in the Hall of Fame, even though he coached only 10 years. But I'm not every quarterback who throws different era guys. Jim Kelly's another one who should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, should be.
Partially not only because of his career in making the Super Bowl 4 times in a row, but the K-gun offense completely changed football. Obviously, Joe Montana and Steve Young, those two.
Well, it's the same
I could get
argument.
you up to about 15 quarterbacks, but there's a bunch of teams that don't have a quarterback should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I can make an argument for Warren Moon because Warren Moon got screwed over because he had to go to CFL, and he threw the most beautiful ball. He's like Black Dan Marino. His throwing and his release and everything was incredible. And I love Warren Moon.
The one that makes me, I think, laugh is that everybody keeps arguing, well, Donovan McNabb should be in the Hall of Fame. No. And No.
If you asked an Eagles fan, a hardcore Eagles fan like you, I'm not even being funny that I'm about to ask you this.
Right.
Who would Eagles fan tell you was better? Donovan McNabb or Ron Jaworski?
Ron Jaworski.
I didn't
Without
even go to
doubt.
Randall Cunningham. It was better than both of them.
Yep, sure was. Hands down.
Randall Cunningham had no coaching.
Yep.
This was his coaching. Buddy Ryan would tell him, go make some plays. I got Reggie White. You figure it out. I don't care. By the way, there's stories about Ron Jaworski talking about, because he was the quarterback when Buddy Ryan took over, and he taught how to run plays, and there was no communication about offense.
Nope.
It was just embarrassing how stupid it was.
No.
And you should have Jaws on. Jaws is awesome. And you notice I didn't insult your intelligence and bring up Nick fucking Foles. But
now,
this is part of the segment where I'm allowed to say that, because I have to say it every show. Every time I'm on, I got to say Nick fucking Foles.
but here's the thing, though. If it were to come down to it, honest to God, if it came down to it, and no, Nick Foles does not by far have any numbers to say he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I would put Nick Foles way before I would put friggin' number 5 will always love you, as you always used to walk around Philly and say that nonsense. But to me, I would definitely put in Nick Foles before Donovan McNabb. And just off the Super Bowl title, and for a backup quarterback to do what he did, to be able to do so.
See, the thing to me is, if Carson Wentz doesn't get hurt, he would have been the quarterback forever, because I thought he was like the MVP of the league when he got hurt.
Yep.
And he's never been the same.
Nope.
And he's got this Jay Cutler thing to him where he pisses people off when he talks.
Well,
So,
all right, here's the thing, right? So
let's hear this from you. You're Mr. Eagles. You know more about this than I do. I want to hear about Carson Wentz.
The year that they made the run and obviously ended up winning the Super Bowl, no one forgot about Carson Wentz. But when you got to when you were in Philly, obviously you ended up finding out Nick Foles was going to be the guy. Bill worked all over the place. I just remember like it was freaking yesterday. But Carson Wentz, I get it. I understand it, because it was a season you were on fire. You should have been the MVP. And yes, if still Carson Wentz would have been healthy, and yes, he'd have been the one taking the Super Bowl and actually won the Super Bowl, then sure, you have every freaking right to brag until the end of the world. But your backup quarterback came in and saved your season, because if it wasn't for what Carson Wentz did, we would have never had our first original Super Bowl. But the next year, because the year before, he comes in, North Dakota State, no one knows who the hell he is, ends up doing really well. Then he starts putting all the guys together to the point where they were having like prayer Fridays. He was getting the entire team involved, and everyone was, this is great, team bonding, team building, the whole 9 yards. Then a year afterwards, granted, the Eagles rode, unfortunately, that Super Bowl high, which was a demise of them in 2018. But then he walked around like, what about me, guys? What about me? I'm so here. But the way he went about it went from, hey, let's all get together, to, I'm sorry, God doesn't like any use anymore because you guys, left me behind. Like, no one left you behind. If it wasn't for you and the MVP season you were having, 2017 would never been a thing. But since then, he's just taken this crazy ride where he went from, climbing up that mountain a little bit to just coming back down the steps, coming down to the gravel pits. And then I don't know where the hell he buried himself, because I guess they thought if Patrick Mahomes went down, that here comes Carson Wentz, and he would be the same person as 2017. And God bless Andy Reid, because I know he tried to believe in Carson Wentz.
I totally forgot about that. Good call, Angel.
So I don't know why he just felt like, and to this day, like, bro, you got to get over it. No matter what you
some guys, not, and I'm going to talk about Drew Bledsoe here in a minute,
right?
But not everybody is Drew Bledsoe that can handle going through that and losing. Now, Bledsoe almost died, so that's the other part of it. It's a little different,
right?
But losing your job and then having the other guy win it all is tough. And Foles wasn't a big deal, and obviously Tommy was picking 199 and nobody knew who he was. But, it's very rare. Trent Green's another one. Trent Green got his knee taken off by Rodney Harrison, and then Kurt Warner showed up, and the rest is history.
Yep.
So, but again, Trent Green went on and had a really good career. So, it's interesting to see how everything handles it and things work out. And it's hard. There's only 32 of these jobs. Not everybody is mentally equipped to handle things or goes to the right situation. I mean, you live in Tampa, Baker Mayfield. That's team number 4, but it worked out. He's on a great situation.
Yep.
Matthew Stafford took a beating and was blamed for everything. He left here. McVay thought Jared Goff sucked. He was partially right. He sucks in the playoffs, but he got rid of him. There's other guys like that. Look at the career Geno Smith had. He was good on Seattle. He's on the Raiders again. There are certain guys that have shelf life. I think Daniel Jones is going to do good on Indianapolis. I think they got a good team, and he's going to come in there and do a good job. And we'll see. There's been a couple other guys. Kirk Cousins played for multiple teams.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's kind of a different dude. If you've been watching quarterback,
Yeah.
in any other stuff, he's a different type of cat. But no, it's interesting to see what goes on. But again, this Hall of Fame is for everybody is a bunch of bullshit.
I think that the whole situation with Kirk Cousins, I thought it was ridiculous the way Atlanta did it, because to me, Atlanta already knew, even though they went with Kirk Cousins, no matter what, they were going to go high round draft pick in that year. So to me, what was the point of signing him for all this money? Now you basically have a $280 million backup quarterback on your roster. So what was the point? If you were going to rebuild, then rebuild the way you did. Raheem Morris.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do I still?
What the Saints are kind of doing. The Saints are they're clearing a spot for quarterback basically, and the Browns to an extent, even though that's a circus. But the
I don't understand the whole Brown situation either.
Well, that's the Browns are going to Brown. That's how you explain things, Angel. That's the Browns.
Yeah.
The Browns. There's 31 teams. There's 31 teams watching the Browns as an example of how not to do things. Even the Bengals wouldn't do something that's stupid.
I was just about to say that. The same thing. Because how can your front office be?
Well, as far as the Bengals go, they're an interesting dynamic. Now, they do things ass backwards with contracts and they're cheap, but they're really good at drafting players and finding the good players. I mean, they've been to the Super Bowl, I think, with 3 different quarterbacks since like 1980.
Right.
How many NFL teams can say that? The Patriots are one. The Patriots are one of them, believe it or not, with Tony fucking Eason, Drew Bledsoe, and Tom Brady. So, and your team's been with war.
Yep. True. Do.
And isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But no, it's cheap as a disease, and I've learned this as a Mets fan when the Wilpons ran the team, and I'm not saying they were cheap. They had problems because of the Bernie Madoff thing. That's well documented, the Bobby Bonilla nonsense, which is the most overblown thing, because basically every major league team does that with star players now. The Dodgers basically built their team off doing what the Mets did with Bobby Bonilla. But hey, let's not talk about that. And we got to talk about how great the fucking Yankees are and all the other nonsense that goes on. The Atlanta Braves are the geniuses. By the way, they just crippled Ronald Acuna because their doctors are morons. Look that up. And by the way, the Mets with the Bobby Bonilla, they reinvested the money,
right?
Signed Mike Hampton, went to the World Series, right? And then they got a comp pick from Mike Hampton. You know what the comp pick was Mr. Angel?
I can't.
You ever hear of David Wright?
Oh yeah,
he just hit another home run against your Phillies. He murdered them his whole life.
Yeah.
2 times coming back from injury, his first at bat, he hit a home run off Angels Phillies.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Back with thunder. That was one of the best calls in 2015. So, no, it is what it is, and it's the reality of sports and what we have going on. But no, as far as the trade deadline, I believe the Mets just lost 5-0. The trade deadline, I think my team is they're going to probably add a center fielder, and you keep hearing the Lewis Robert kid. They added 2 relievers. They could use another starting pitcher. Your team needs bullpen help.
A lot.
They're talking about Suarez too with you guys.
Yep.
Because of Braum and some other guys, you can move around. But we'll see. The Yankees did what they did already. I don't think they're going to do anything special because their pitching's beat up and Judge is hurt bad. I mean, Judge has a serious injury, by the way. That is not your elbow. He's going to have to DH the rest of the year, which would be really. I hope there's comedy in my life because I would pay serious money to see Giancarlo Stanton having played the field. I would pay serious cash to watch the Yankees have to put Giancarlo Stanton in the outfield. He can barely move DHing. Put him in the outfield. That would be so. It'd be like Kyle Schwarber playing center field. I mean, and I love Kyle Schwarber, by the way. What a great player.
By the way,
I love him. I love him. Our coach here at Michigan, Tracy Smith, Skip, was his coach at Indiana.
Oh, nice.
He caught. Skip was telling me this. The College World Series team, I think they played like 55 games, and Kyle caught like 43 of them. Because Kyle was a catcher in college.
Huh.
If you didn't know that, Kyle Schwarber came up as a catcher for the Cubs,
right?
And then they moved him for obvious reasons, for his own safety probably. But I love Kyle.
He may demand not obviously Kyle himself, but right now he's averaging like I think it's like 10 million a year or so, and they're talking about at the end of the year when his contract is up, he may be looking at about 25 million. A year. Now, I don't know if
I don't know what the market is for the DH, and we're going to have a lockout after next season.
It's going to
be and Bryce Harper is part of this, and I love Bryce Harper, and what he did was right. It's funny because the Phillies are a big rival of ours, but I have a lot of respect for a lot of your players. Now that Chase Utley is gone, but I love Bryce Harper. I love Wheeler, and we talked about that last time. I'm still fucking pissed at the Mets for letting Wheeler go. I love Kyle Schwarber. I like a lot of your players, and I like your manager. Your manager's a good guy. But you're an arch enemy of ours. But I mean, it's not like the Braves. Where I look at the Braves and I want the whole place to burn down. I mean, I couldn't stop laughing when I saw the Acuna thing last night. And it's not about a guy being injured. It's about the Braves' stupidity injured him. Of course, if the Mets did that, we wouldn't hear about that, right? Right, Angel?
No, not at
all. If the Mets, no, there would be no jokes about that.
But hang on, I want to go back for a second though. What was the thing with you and Chase Utley?
Oh, what he did to Ruben Tejada.
Listen,
he ruined my shortstop's leg. Broke my shortstop leg. Cost us the World Series. Ruined Ruben Tejada. Ruined his career.
It could have been worse.
You have to ask a Mets fan why we don't like Chase Utley.
I just wanted to hear
watch the video. Go watch the video of that. David Wright was going to go kill him. The best part of that play that nobody talks about. Utley got knocked out on that play because Tejada's knee hit his head.
Yeah,
he had a concussion. He was out for the rest of the playoffs, if I remember correctly. And by the way, one of the greatest mic'd ups is when Noah Syndergaard threw at Chase Utley and got tossed, and they had Terry Collins mic'd up. And he called the umpire, among other things, a cocksucker, and it was awesome. And then the crew chief came over to explain to Terry why they had to throw Syndergaard out. And Terry explained to him why the Mets had to throw at him. It's one of the best mic'd ups ever. I'll post it. I'll post it on my Twitter, folks. This is a family program. We don't want Angel getting in trouble. But when I'm on swearing every 2 minutes, that kind of negates it. But we don't want the sainted coach of the Mets, my fellow Irish brother, Terry Collins, and it's maybe the best mic'd up thing ever. Besides the Clayton Kershaw at the All-Star game was great. Him talking to John Smoltz during the broadcast was great. But no, you really just asked me why Mets fans don't like Chase Utley.
I had
broke our shortstop's leg.
I had to.
It was so bad. Chipper Jones defended us on Twitter. He went after because Chase Utley injured him on a similar play.
Yeah, he did.
Chase Utley you got to admit this, is one of the dirtiest MFs ever. He did some stuff.
He was, yes. But he also got us for a second World Series. So I know. I can't hate the man.
He gravy trained off of Cliff Lee and Roy Halladay and Brad Leach. Good job. So
until he went
But
to
no,
LA. They're not the one thing I don't understand about Chase.
I'm
This
trying
guy,
to remember. By the way, I'm trying to remember your second World Series after the Dallas Green, Mike Schmidt, Tug McGraw, Steve Carlton team. Who was the manager? Who's the manager of
Charlie
your
Manuel,
who?
Charlie Hustle, Charlie Manuel.
Oh, Charlie Manuel. That's right.
Yeah,
The old hitting coach of the Tribe with Jim Thome and those guys. Okay,
Yippers.
there you go. Good call. Good
And
call.
Charlie was good. Charlie, I think I don't
He's
want
weird because he was a hitting coach.
to. Mm-hmm.
He was a hitting coach, and usually you see the stories about the pitching coaches not being good managers.
Right.
Like Leo Mazzoni, who was the Braves pitching coach forever, never got a job, and Mel Stottlemyre's another one. Where you don't see these guys getting hired, and it was just Joe Kerrigan was a disaster for the Red Sox, and I love it hurts me so much, Angel, to say disaster and the Red Sox together. Oh, hurts me. Oh, so bad. Oh, just hold on. Let me. God bless Bill Buckner. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, and John McNamara. Oh, fucking love John McNamara. Thank you. Have another beer, John. Thank you.
I'd have to bring up, and I'm almost certain it should be on my YouTube page, but it was Charlie Manuel was down here. He always comes out of Florida because he
I
lives down here
love
anyway.
him. I love Charlie Manuel, by the way.
He was so Philly Sports Trips had him. We were at Coco's Bar and Grill, and he had a Q&A. Probably some stories that he shared were absolutely hilarious. And at one
Think
point,
about some of the people he's worked with, like Albert Bell.
yeah. Well, the funny thing is, so a lot of folks were saying like, no one record. We want to hear Charlie tell stories, and so no one wanted to record. But because I was at the time, Philly Sports Trips and we were teaming up together. Like, listen, I'm recording it. It may not go out immediately, but I'll make sure that if something needs to be edited out, it'll be edited out. So Charlie goes on, tells a couple of stories, and then at one point he goes, and it looks like down at me, like basically pointing at me, like this guy's recording, and I'm telling him like, go ahead, who cares? So he tells a story he's never told before, absolutely hilarious, but it wasn't something like he wasn't implicating anybody or anything else. So I'm almost certain if I don't have it up on YouTube,
PED stuff, or
no. It was like was another manager he ran into like years later after a team he was on. Like, so he was like telling behind the scenes
did he
story.
name the guy or did he name the guy?
No, he never named the guy.
Okay, you can do that. That's smart. That's a way you can do things.
Yeah. So he never named the guy, therefore he couldn't implicate him or anything else like that. But it was the story itself was just absolutely hilarious. If I don't have, I'll have to find it in my archives and then post it up there. But it was such a great time, so well loved. I'm thankful I was able to say thank you to Charlie. And then a couple years ago, it was Larry Bow was in town, and so I had the opportunity of thanking him.
I love Larry Bow. Larry Bow is basically me. So white little fire plug brawler, sewer mouth.
But
Did you set the major league ejection record in one season a couple of years ago when he was a manager of the Phillies?
Yep.
Then he set that he got ejected like 15 times.
Yeah.
He set the major league record in a season.
There were a lot of Phillies fans who were upset when well, first of all, with Charlie Manuel.
Well, did Ruben Amaro fire him?
See.
And Ruben was coaching recently. I think he was coaching with the Mets among other teams.
The Mets.
Wow. That's interesting. Did you liked Ruben Amaro, right? He was a good GM, right?
I liked him until when it's starting in close to the end. Like, we knew it was time for Ruben to go because it was like, listen, you're just
obviously the Roy Halladay thing kind of sped up, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I always respect him, and it was funny because we had an interview with him maybe like 2 years ago, and it was he was really good because one of two things, and Ruben knows this, so it's not like it's anything breaking or anything else. Some people have said, oh, he's like so impossible to talk to because he always wants to be right. He wants to be this and that. Well, only come to find out, unless he's like comfortable with you in the environment.
He's not good with the media.
No, he's not. But the only thing was that when he was on with us, it was him and Kane Callis, Harry Callis' son. We had them both on the same night. And I'll release that as well. End up having like the best conversation. Like, you know what? This is the Ruben that I loved. So it was.
You have great radio guys on the Phillies, and the TV guys with Mike Schmidt are. I mean, they do a good job.
They do.
And the cool thing now, Angel, because you and I are close in age, is a lot of the guys who grew up watching play,
Mm-hmm.
like Jim Palmer, Keith Hernandez, Mike Schmidt, are TV guys now. And Tigers out here with Jack Morris and other guys.
John Smoltz.
John Smoltz. John Smoltz, by the way, is great.
He is.
Because he talks about pitching and how they're ruining pitchers.
Yep.
And everybody's trying to be Nolan Ryan, and there's only he talks about this. There's only one Nolan Ryan. And remember, John Smoltz out of Glavine, Maddox, and he was the guy who had all the arm injuries. And remember, at the end of his career, he had to become a reliever. And Greg Maddox never had arm injuries, and Tom Glavine had a little bit, but nothing like what John Smoltz had. And it's really interesting. Obviously, those three guys didn't do steroids. If Greg Maddox and Tom Glavine were doing steroids, they weren't working right. They didn't do them right. Because particularly Greg Maddox literally is the one. Have you seen these videos and jokes out there where kids of pro athletes are going up to their dad and ask him, "Hey, what would you imagine? What would you do if you were athletic?" Like the Randy Johnson one is the best one. Right. Randy Johnson's daughter asking him at dinner, "Hey, Dad, what would you imagine? What it would be like if you were athletic?" And he's like, "Sweetheart, I'm 6'10". I was a Major League Baseball pitcher. I wasn't athletic, but I was good at my sport." And he explained it. It was so funny. But it was seeing things like that. And, I joked with you the other day about the 2015 Mets with all those high-valued pitchers, and most healthy guy and best career out of all of them was Bartolo Colon.
Yeah.
So our sport's weird. I mean, your team famously had John Kruk.
Sure did.
Who looked like he trained at a Miller Lite factory. I mean, and there's football guys that look like, Greek gods and they can't stay healthy. And then there's guys that look like bowling balls and they play forever, like Jerome Bettis. So, he and Eddie George played the same position. And Eddie George's ears have more muscles than Jerome Bettis' entire body. Yet, Eddie George, they're both awesome players at the same position. A guy like Calvin Johnson, who's an all-world receiver, and you have somebody like Wes Welker and Steve Largent. They were all-world receivers, little white guys. And look at this guy who looks like he played defensive end. I mean, Calvin Johnson, was the size of Michael Strahan. He was a wide receiver. It's insane. Just completely nuts.
Although we get some breaking news here, and as soon as it comes up, and you have the Phillies who are playing the White Sox, 2-2 in the 6th, and of course now my phone.
Okay, so what's up? Is it baseball trade?
Yeah, so you have breaking news: Phillies trading for flamethrower Duran, and so
from the Twins.
Yep,
the Twins closer.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Yep. I'll look it up. I'm gonna get on Twitter now and look myself.
Let's see. So, yep. So the Phillies are finalizing a deal to acquire closer Juan Duran from the Twins in exchange for 2 top 100 overall prospects, catcher Eduardo Tate, number 56, and right-hander Mick Abel, number 92, as source told MLB.com's Mark Feinsand. So that is the latest trade as of right now.
Interesting.
Yep. So
interesting. Yeah, I've got it here. Eduardo Duran. Ella Franco doesn't like to trade. You'll be stunned to hear, Angel. Ella is John Franco's daughter.
Right.
And she and I have fun on Twitter. Bob Nightingale's got it. This is 23 minutes ago. The Phillies got their man. They're acquiring Johan Duran for Eduardo Tate and Mick Abel. Nothing else that I've seen as far as trades. But that's a good move for your team. That's a good move for your team. Clear reaction to Steve Cohen and the Mets, but we knew you were going to be doing a move for a pitcher, bullpen. We've added 2 guys. And by the way, we still have Edwin Diaz, and he's better than Duran. So, Edwin Diaz is better than everybody. So, no, it's cool. It's good. It's good. I like having competition and having a team in your division that's trying. This is part of the problem with the Tigers. Their division, the best team in their division, they can't stop gambling. The 2 guys on the Indians and the Twins are a joke, and they're been trying to sell their team. And the White Sox are a mess. and they're in total rebuild. And the Royals are like a 500 team,
But
that
the problem with the
trying to
White
get
Sox,
there.
one thing I tell my wife, who's a diehard White Sox fan, God bless, but the problem with the
She's
White Sox,
dying very hard, by the way.
yeah, how do you keep hiring safe managers? Quit with the hiring of the safe
Well,
managers.
okay, it's funny that you say that. Angel, who's the lunatic they hired and they won the World Series with? Did someone bring that up?
Again,
Ozzie Guillen.
yeah,
Sometimes when you're the second-rate team in a city, and wow, I sound like I'm speaking from experience, you need to go on a limb and hire somebody unusual. Oh, I don't know, like Bobby Valentine. Oh shit, that worked really well for the Mets.
right.
They
And
could
I
easily
he
won the
talked
World
about, and
Series with him.
he's been talking about it for the post game show. I like to really watch the White Sox post game show because of Ozzy, because he tells you just the way it is. But I don't understand. Like
I
he's
miss Hawk. I miss Hawk, but I love Steve Stone,
he is
and I
good.
love Steve Stone's awesome. And Ozzy, you're right about Ozzy again. And is Psycho still there? Is Psycho Steve Lyons still around the White Sox?
I think so.
Okay, I haven't looked recently because they're really bad and my team's really good, so I don't have the time of the date. But I love Psycho. But no, Ozzy's great, but that's my point. When you have a non-traditional power franchise, you
Mhm.
need to do and try unusual things. That's why the Mets are going for it. How often do you think they're going to have Juan Soto and Pete Alonso together? Alonso might leave. I mean, what do you think they're doing? The Braves stink. They're going to stink. They just crippled Acuna. The Dodgers, all their pitchers are hurt, and they're a year older. And the Mets can beat them. They went 6 games with them last year, and their pitching was in disarray because of the bullshit the Braves pulled at the end of the year. That's why both your team and my team are going for it. They can win the World Series. The American League sucks. Yankees would be like a ninth or 10th place team in the National League as far as the playoff seeding goes, and they're in the playoffs. Like, seriously, if the Yankees made the playoffs, who's pitching game one? Marcus Stroman?
Probably.
A guy the Mets got rid of.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yankees aren't going anywhere. And
By the way, no, they're going away. That's where they're going. Here's the thing, and I keep telling you this, and you keep laughing at me. You guys are a serious threat to get Screwball because of who your general manager is. He wants to stick it to the Tigers, Dombrowski. I'm not talking about this year, then maybe next year in the offseason free agency. Wheeler's going to retire, so that big money's coming off your books.
right.
Castellanos is probably coming off your books soon. Schwarber's coming off your books. So you do that math. There's a lot of money. There's only a few teams that can pay Screwball. I don't think the Mets will. I don't think the Yankees can afford to after the Garrett Cole disaster, and the Braves won't. The Braves are just happy being the Braves and just being because they get 4 people at their games. I mean, nobody goes to their games.
It doesn't. That doesn't make sense to me. How do you open another place, brand new ballpark, and
Oh, the
still?
Braves? Because Pete, oh, come on, Angel, you know this. Haven't you talked to Pete? Pete and I've talked to you about this. Atlanta is a terrible sports town.
Yeah.
It's a college sports place.
Yeah, but yet the NHL.
The Greg Maddux, John Smoltz, Glavine teams, they weren't selling out World Series games.
No, they weren't. But
When the Mets played them in the playoffs in '99, I went down there and got tickets. Paid face value for tickets for a game to watch Kenny Rogers walk fucking Andrew Jones to eliminate my team.
But the funny thing is, though, I can't believe that the NHL is even thinking about expanding to Atlanta for the
Okay.
third
Third,
time.
okay, but do you understand why? It's the capital of the South, and it's a great event city. Does that make sense? It's not it's an event town. It's not a sports town. Does that make difference? Like as great as an event and sports town is New York is, it sucked for the Super Bowl. It had no atmosphere for the Super Bowl
Right.
because it's not. And New York's not a college sports town either. There's a whole bunch of problems with New York, but no, Atlanta. It's a stupid idea with the hockey team there. No, stupid.
Yeah.
Put another team in Canada, or do another team. I mean, and by the way, it's not like hockey isn't working like Carolina.
Right.
No, Atlanta doesn't suck. it's just not a sports. It's not a big sports town.
The
The
only
Hawks
thing,
had great. The Hawks had great teams forever. Dominique Wilkins, and they weren't a big deal. And they were a fun team. The Dominic Wilkins, Spud Webb, Doc Rivers teams, Kevin
Mhm.
Willis, those are fun teams. Now they couldn't beat the Celtics or the Pistons, but I mean that was Dominic Wilkins was one of the most fun players in the league to watch, and they didn't draw. And the Braves are always good, but again they're kind of a flim flam cheap team. The fact that they let Freddie Freeman leave is just beyond fucking embarrassing.
Yep.
I mean, and hey, and listen. Now, again, I'm a Mets fan. I helped drive Freddie to the airport to get rid of him. I had a fucking parade. I ran up and down Main Street. Thank you, Braves. And my goddamn Yankees fans. Oh, Freddie Freeman sucks. What do you worry about him? And then of course he hits the grand slam that ruins the Yankees' lives. Which I actually ran around the bases with Freddie on the grand slam against the Yankees of that Nestor Cortez guy, where the genius manager of the Yankees brings Aaron Boone sat there and go, hey, what's a good idea? Let's bring Nestor Cortez in to pitch that Freddie Freeman. And Freddie Freeman actually caught the ball with his hand and wiffle balled it out. That's how bad the pitch was. One of the funniest, one of the greatest moments of my life that didn't involve one of my teams was watching Freeman do that to the Yankees and ending their fucking season. Because all I heard about, the Mets suck. They lost to the Dodgers. We're gonna do the Dodgers. We beat the Dodgers all the fucking time, and they beat them like day old eggs. So it
True.
was just so fun.
So as we get ready to start closing things out here shortly, but
Yeah.
it was what when are they actually going to tell the truth about Aaron Judge? And because that 10-day is not even going to be remotely close to what he's going to need.
Well, I mean, there might be. When you said when are they going to tell the truth, I thought you were talking about vitamins. Yeah.
No, they're never going to tell the truth on that one. Everybody knows that.
I mean, everybody looks like that, right, Angel? I
Sure.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Not right, not really. Yeah. But hey, we all take vitamins. So it's amazing. He took vitamins in
Probably both.
he had the career season he had, and then he got paid, and he's been hurt 2 years in a row. Wow. It's sometimes when you take a lot of vitamins,
It's
you
just a
stop
bit too much.
taking the vitamin. You stop taking the vitamins, and things start to get hurt.
Unfortunately.
But what do I know? I'm just a guy who takes vitamins and supplements on my own, drinks a lot of water, and I'm still 5'8", 198 pounds. So there you go. So I got weighed. I got weighed today. I went and got my physical and everything done. But and I'm as to quote my medical friends, I'm as good as new.
Who
So
was the
there you
one,
go.
before we close out, who was the one, God, somebody had, and I saw it was within the recent years, where they went in for a physical and they were like healthy as a horse, and a couple days later, like, they were gone. Who was that?
Athlete or actor?
No, an
Like Hollywood
athlete.
person.
It was an athlete. And I want to say like they may have just hung up their cleats. I know they'll hit me afterwards. Maybe I'll post it up there on Twitter. But it was an athlete. He went in for physical. We're like, nope, everything is good. Heart's good. Blah blah is good, and everything. And then like 2 days later, poof, goodbye.
Was it Jerry West? I
I
think it
think
was
it
Jerry
might have been.
West.
It
I
might
think it
have
was
been.
Jerry West
Yep.
because he was on Dan Patrick and he's dead like a week later.
Yeah. Yep. And he just, I mean, he got like the most.
Yes,
Yep, like
yes.
most top notch freaking physical ever. And we're like, no, everything's good. We're fine. Everything. And poop, goodbye. See you later.
See, it's crazy when like people don't understand how good Jerry West was, and he was the NBA logo. Like I'm fighting with one of my friends. You're on my Facebook, so they had this picture. I'm gonna get these guys right. Shaq,
Right.
Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, LeBron, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and Kobe. And they said eliminate two guys and make a starting five. So again, I'll do the names: Shaq, Michael, Larry, Steph Curry, LeBron, Kevin Durant, and Kobe. You have to cut two guys. Come up with the starting five for that group. You do
LeBron,
your okay. You're cutting
LeBron and Kevin
LeBron.
Durant.
Okay, you got one of the guys I wanted to cut. That's a good list though.
Yeah,
Okay? The reason why I'm going to cut Kobe and Michael can't play on the same team. They play the same position,
this is true. Yeah,
and They're Kobe's a severe ball hog. Michael had ball hog tendencies, then he changed. So obviously you're going to have Shaq because you don't have another center. But I would do Shaq, LeBron, who I can't stand, but on this team he's fine.
right.
Larry, Michael, and Steph Curry. Steph Curry's the only point guard in their list, and he's the best shooter of all those guys.
He is.
And that's an easy five. So if I was doing the guys, I always do my five. These are the five guys I watch play. I'm not going to talk about Bill Russell and John Havlicek and a lot of and Will Chamberlain and all the guys I didn't say. Okay, this would be my five guys. My
Right.
starting five. Any five guys I want. Hakeem, Tim Duncan, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson. You can have any five guys. You ain't beating those five guys. You're not beating those
That's a
five
good
guys.
starting five.
Hakeem, Duncan, Larry Bird, Michael, Magic.
Speaking of what has
Nobody's beating that team. Nobody's beating that five guys.
what's Tim Duncan done as of late? Because
He's working for the Spurs, and he looks like he's like a Buddhist monk. If you haven't seen him, have you seen him lately? What he looks
No.
like? He looks like he's on like a Tibetan, like he's out like farming goats and shit. You'll see it's hilarious.
Oh, I have to check
He's
that out.
an abnormal guy. He's not a typical star athlete. Just
No, he's not.
a different dude.
Yeah, and he said it for many years. So, but and Tim Duncan has never been the one like it's about me, me, me. He's never taken the spotlight from anyone. He was always that consummate professional that just I'm here for my team. I'm here to do my job. My job is hopefully to win and win big. So, but it was just never about him. At least that I can recall. I could be wrong, but I don't ever remember Tim Duncan saying like things are about me. He was always, always, always about the Spurs. Always.
So just to add on to my dream team, the five guys I just named.
Okay.
I'd do four more guys that I'll use as bench and sub in, and I'll do five guys I'm going to sub in. If you're doing a draft, I could probably do this group. If you did like five guys picking a dream team, I could probably do what I'm doing. The next 4 or 5 guys I would do. Moses Malone. Doesn't get talked about enough. Incredible player. Used to destroy Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who is the singular most overrated player in the history of the NBA, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Softer than Charmin. Okay. John Havlicek. Scottie Pippen, the most underrated, great player in the history of the league. If you don't believe me, ask Michael Jordan. Dennis Rodman, an underrated great player, but he couldn't score in a whorehouse with $100 million. And John Stockton. That group got those 5 guys right there with the first 5. I'm going defense, rebounding, blending in guys.
Right.
Between Michael Jordan and Larry Bird, you have enough shooting. And with Hakeem and Tim Duncan, nobody's going to be able to match those two inside defensively. And they would destroy people. Hakeem it's not a coincidence when Michael Jordan disappeared that Hakeem won the championship. By the way, you notice with the 5 guys I picked that every one of them is a multiple Finals MVP and NBA champion. These people talk about Kevin Durant didn't win anything without being on the Warriors.
Right.
Can make a case that I'd take Draymond Green over him just because of his role and what he does on the team. But no, so Angel, I know you got to wrap up here in a minute, but we got a preseason game tomorrow night.
Sure do.
The Lions and Chargers. Jim Harbaugh has a tremendous sense of humor. He's going to punish America and make us watch Trey Lance. So it's I see you're trying not to laugh. To watch and I'm gonna text Kathy and make fun of her all night that your goddamn team traded like 3 drafts for this piece of trash. And he can't play at all. And then after this weekend, we have NFL, we have football in some capacity because week 0, college football is when there's no preseason. So we will have football games till the middle of February.
Yep. Which is fantastic.
So, isn't that pretty fucking cool, buddy? It's
Sure
gonna be pretty
is.
cool. And it's gonna be interesting because Pete's on vacation. We're not gonna have. I'm not gonna be on Friday with you guys, obviously. But what is gonna be interesting to me? His team's really interested with Carson Beck because he's had the Miami reporters on and talked about this. How Carson Beck left Georgia was kind of weird. They went with the try hard guy, the Gunnar Stockton kid, and you wonder how that's going to translate with him. And you're going to see this with NIL guys leaving for money. And you could do worse from going from Georgia to Miami. Miami's a pretty cool place to play.
Yeah.
And in Georgia, I don't know how good their offensive system is. And obviously, he saw how good Cam Ward was. And Beck didn't have a very good year last year. So rehabbing his image and with Cristobal and having a good season, he might be the first pick in the draft because I don't think Arch Manning is going to come out. Honestly have no idea how good Arch Manning is because he couldn't beat out a guy's 7th-round draft pick for the New Orleans Saints, Ewers, so I don't think he's any good. So, by the way, I'm hearing really good things on Will Howard with the Steelers, and that's out there in the public now.
Yep.
The guy who scored 10 points against Michigan, with that great team, and no pants for him. Well, he gets gold pants now on the Steelers, but you can stop laughing, Angel. It's not funny. It's my show, Angel. We have to make fun of. We have to say Nick fucking Foles. We have to make fun of Ohio State. It's in my contract.
It is.
So it's and I have to yell about the Braves and the goddamn Yankees. So and make fun of the Red Sox when the right can. But they're playing good right now, and they're a fun, interesting team, the Red Sox.
They are. Right? It seems like some people are kind of swiveling that way, saying that maybe they'll make a World Series appearance. That's a long stretch, but funny.
The Red Sox. Well, I'll say this. They have a number one starter they can put out there against Screwball. Name another team that has somebody as good as Crochet. That's one of the things you guys have with Wheeler. Who's the Dodgers' number one starter? They're all hurt.
Yeah. Well, again, and that's also if Wheeler.
I love this guy, and he's a Hall of Famer and one of the all-time favorites. But let me let you know a secret.
Sure.
Major League teams in the playoffs are going to send a limo to bring Clayton Kershaw to begin the pitch. He can't pitch anymore. The mind is there. The body is not. He's like a fourth starter on a good team. He's what Bartolo Colon was in 2015.
Good point.
He's not. That's not a number one starter.
No.
You put him out against any of the three guys from your Phillies or whatever the Mets are going to put out. So, and there's too many good lineups that are just going to wear him out. So it's going to be interesting to see. But no, it's going to be next 24 hours is going to be really interesting. I think my team is going to add a starting pitcher and a center fielder. And I think you guys might be done. Do you have an obvious position player need? Now, you keep hearing about you guys with center fielders or a third baseman. Would you think you'd want Suarez?
No. Yeah, I think.
And, one of these days, Chris Milich might get out some money and pay somebody, or maybe he won't. That was funny, dum-dum. But I love cheap owners. Chris will not be on Beav's World. My buddy, my two buddies who are two of his coaches. I pray for those poor guys. By the way, they look good today, and Chris Paddock looked really good for the Tigers.
He did.
It might be a quietly good acquisition for the Mets, the Tigers. The Mets couldn't trade for Chris Paddock. He and Pete Alonso are hated, sworn enemies. So it is. But, Angel, I know you got to wrap up. You got the basketball guys coming on.
Yep.
And we'll be back. I mean, you got anything going on the next couple of days with the Pete being gone, or we'll be back Monday? But we're good to go.
Yep. We'll be back Monday.
Okay, brother. Have a good rest of your week, and we'll be if anything comes up, I'll text or call you. But by the way, I'll tweet the Terry Collins, the Noah Syndergaard, Chase Utley. I'll tweet that to you. Okay, buddy. Have a good night. Hope everybody's tuning in. Thank you very much. Have a good night, LFG, baby.